It's Marquee Mystery Week with Cubs Classics, presented by Prevagen. It's a Marquee Mystery Game. Enjoy.
John Kibler will be behind the plate. Nick Colosi, who in the offseason is a maitre d' in a New York restaurant, is at first base. Dave Davidson is down at second base. And Ed Sudol is at third base. The Chicago Cubs and Giants have not played each other this year. And Santo and company are taking a look, Tony, for the first time at the completely artificially turfed infield and outfield.
And the turf is a little bit slick. They had some rain last night here in Candlestick, San Francisco. The game was postponed. They had a sprinkle out around the pitcher's mound. There are some dark spots. And talking to Kessinger and Popovich, some of the Cub infielders, there you see those dark spots. They were saying the ball is really skittering off the infield, getting to them much more quickly. Right now also, Jim, they're going over some ground rules. There are some corners in this ballpark, 330 down both lines, 335 in left field. But the bullpens are down on the field, and of course any ground rule that pertains to a ball hitting a player down there gets stuck in the bench is being explained now to Ron Santo, the visiting ball club captain.
And I don't recall, Tony, whether or not the Cubs have played here with this completely enclosed as it is now. They were doing a lot of construction work here all last year. And the Chicago Cubs, by the way, were unable to win here last year. They had a very poor record against the Giants of San Francisco. But remember, the Giants of San Francisco, as we said, won 50 ball games at Candlestick last year. One of the best in the league. Only the Pirates did better. But this year, they have really run into trouble. They've won only 6 and lost 26. Now the umpires and the ball players alike. And everybody here at Candlestick Park listens to our national anthem. It is really a picture book afternoon in San Francisco. The temperatures to be in the mid-60s only. White fluffy clouds in the sky, lots of blue, no chance of rain. The Chicago Cubs meeting for the first time. Here is their lineup. Leading off and playing at shortstop is Don Kessinger. Down at second base, because Glenn Beckert has pulled a hamstring muscle, is Paul Popovich. Out in left field, the sweet swinger Billy Williams. Batting cleanup today and playing first base, Carmen Fanzone. Batting fifth in center field, Rick Mundy, who used to play for the Oakland A's. Jose Cardenal having a great years out in right field. Ron Santo is at third base, the captain. Randy Huntley is back in catching all this year for the Cubs. And Ferguson Jenkins, who has won 6 and lost 5, and in 12 starts has had 10 complete ball games. All of those in a row is the pitcher. As a matter of fact, Fergie last year had 30 complete ball games. He is quite a pitcher. Leo DeRocher in the dugout there. He is the one with the jacket on. Defensively, for the San Francisco Giants, as you watch Steve Stone warm up, McCovey's at first, Fuentes at second, Spire at short, Kingman at third, Henderson in left, Maddox in center, Bonds in right, Dave Rader behind the plate, and Tony, here is Steve Stone, and he is quite a young pitcher for the Giants.
Stone has been the most effective pitcher for the Giants thus far this year. We saw him pitch a couple of weeks ago against the Atlanta Braves. He pitched a whale of a ball game, Jim, only to get beat late in the ball game by a 3-run home run by Earl Williams, their fine young catcher. He has a good fastball, although Don McMahon, his pitching coach, says he isn't using it as often as he should. He changes speeds very well on his breaking pitch, and this seems to be a success thus far this year, his curveball.
Well, here comes Don Kessinger hitting a 255. Kessinger, switch hitter, hits better from the left side of the plate, hitting at 263. Not a long ball hitter. I think everybody that watches baseball knows that. The Cubs go to the fake fainting spells anytime Don does connect for a home run. Good leadoff man. Former basketball player at Ole Miss, sometime coach of basketball at Ole Miss. A fine shortstop teaming with Beckert, who is injured today. Right. Tony, you mentioned that Stone does not use his fastball. That seems to be one of the marks of many youngsters when they come in with the fastball. They try everything else.
He's got it. He just hasn't had cause to use it yet. He's been successful without it.
Blue one by Kessinger, then it's 0-2. Stone, a youngster. Next month he'll be 25 years old. Something is loose on the field, and Nick Colosi, the umpire, looks like a loose ball that got out of the bullpen. They're throwing it back to the bench, and Colosi returns to first base. No balls, 2 strikes to Kessinger, who's the leadoff batter. Cubs are going good. They started out losing 9 of their first 11 and have won 23 out of 34 since. Wasted the fastball outside. Heard Dick Dozier say that if there's a problem with the Cubs, it is he feels they lack motivation. We'll talk to Dick a little bit later on. There's Paul Popovich today, and Kessinger strikes out. That'll bring up Popovich. He's only been up 22 times, 136 average, and Paul, like Kessinger, switch hitter. This telecast presented by Authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Ground ball, Fuentes at second base, throwing on to McCovey at first, and Stone has 2 of them. We're in the top of the first. Steve Stone, out on the mound, has had quite an athletic career. He was a ping pong champion of the city in South Euclid, Lyndhurst, Ohio. That was in 1960. The next year, he won singles and doubles tennis championships. At Kent State, he was on the championship bowling team and the championship volleyball team. Here is Billy Williams, hitting at 288, leading the club in home runs with 7 and in hits with 53. Inside, Ernie Banks was telling us, Tony, what Billy's problem was getting off to the slow start, as you would say, getting out in front, which means
getting off on that front foot, getting your weight committed too far forward, and you're way ahead of those breaking pitches, and then the fastball seems to get in on your fist. Your rhythm is off, your timing is off. Same way it can happen to a pitcher or an infielder in fielding a ground ball or in throwing a baseball. But he's out in front on the front foot too soon.
1 ball, 1 strike. We've got 2 out, and the top of the first is no score, and changed on that, and it's low and away, and it's 2-1. On deck is a fellow out of the Red Sox system, doing very well for the Chicago Cubs, Carmen Fanzone. Plays baseball, plays the trumpet. Up high, 3 balls, 1 strike to Billy Williams.
You know, Jim, when Williams is in a slump, it's not like the normal 260 hitter when he's in a slump. They go 0 for 4, 0 for 5. Billy still manages to pick up a hit. They go 1 for 4 just to maintain his average.
Drive to right field. Bobby Bonds, with all that speed, takes it at knee-high level. No runs, hits, or errors, and we'll be back with the bottom of the first in a moment.
Every weekday night, tune into the stadium.
Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred wants to play as many games as possible as soon as possible.
If this 2020 Cubs team wants to get back to where they were at 2016, I think David Ross is going to be the right guy to lead them there.
There was something that we could do to help stop the spread.
Common Man is looking for 1 or 2 or 3 men. We decided to help the common man.
The Stadium, weeknights at 7 on Marquee Sports Network. Presented by UI Health, changing medicine for good.
You might take something for your heart, your joints, or your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you, your brain. With an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish, Prevagen has been shown in clinical trials to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Sport has the power to unite. It has the power to build communities. It has the power to break down barriers and allow people to feel as though they're on equal footing with one another. We at Cubs Charities have the ability to do some critical work right now, utilizing the power that sports has in building community, in inspiring hope, and uniting a city.
Catch all the weekly show highlights each weekend with Best of Cubs 360 Daily.
I used to go out to batting practice just so I could chat with Ernie. If I was having a bad day, I knew he would pick up my spirits.
I faced him a lot, so they know what I have. Tommy Hotovy, he knows me personally, so I think it's going to be a good thing.
Hindsight's always 20/20. You know, sometimes your emotions get the best of you.
Best of Cubs 360 Daily, Saturday at 5. Proudly presented by Miller Lite.
Well, we thought we'd give you a real good look at the Giants. Bobby Bonds will lead it off and play in right field today. Hitting at .276, there's Chris Spire. He'll be playing shortstop. Spire having a good year at the bat. Ken Henderson, a switch hitter, one of the young outfielders, will be out in left field today. And welcome back to Willie McCovey, who came back a week ago and hit a home run here on NBC. He's playing at first base and batting cleanup. Batting fifth is the catcher, Dave Rader. Like Doug Rader, no relation, they call him the Rooster. There's Dave Kingman, who leads the club in home runs with 14, has 38 RBIs. He'll be at third base today. Gary Maddox, the sensational speed burner out in center field. Pretty good power. Playing there today, batting seventh. Tito Fuentes is back after an injury. Down at second base this afternoon. And, of course, the pitcher is Steve Stoll, and we've seen him at work in the top of this inning. Bonds hitting at .276, 8 home runs, 31 RBIs, leads the team in hits with 59. Remember that 30-30 club one year. More than 30 home runs, more than 30 stolen bases. Not too many have done that. 5 altogether. And out there is Ferguson Jenkins. 6 and 5, 10 straight complete games. Breaking pitch, and it's strike one. 5 times in a row, Jenkins has won 20 or more ball games in those 5 seasons, where his first 5 seasons as a regular. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike, and here's Jenkins, Tony.
If you see a typical Ferguson Jenkins game, you're going to see a real operation. Always on the black part of the plate, never seems to throw a ball down the middle.
Ground ball, Kingman, or rather Santo over at third base, throwing on the fan zone at first for the out. Jenkins is, well, back in 1967, his first year as a regular starter, he won 120 in 68, then he went 21, 22, and 24. And I'm sure you know that he was a Cy Young Award winner last year. Here's Chris Spire having a great year in power. 6 home runs, 24 RBIs. Youngster, he had 8 all last year in 157 games, and 6 so far this year. All outside, it's ball 1. We're in the last of the first. 1 out, there's no score. Spire will be 22 later this month. Born very near here, lives very near here in Alameda, California.
Jim, this Giant ball club, as you've probably noticed, is in the midst of a real transformation from a rather slow-running ball club with a lot of power that goes for the big inning to a lot of speed. They have a lot of potential on this team. Bunch of youngsters who are now making mistakes. They're losing because they're making mistakes, base running in the outfield, defensively, not getting runners over. But basically, this is a potentially great team.
Spire with a count of 3-0, and Jenkins, who very seldom walks anybody, got that one over. It's 3-1. On deck is Ken Henderson. Last year, Jenkins went 14 complete games without walking anybody. So he had Spire 3-0. Now he's got him 3-2. Imagine 14 games without walking a soul. To get back to the subject as Tony was talking about of the young ball club, 8 are rookies, 6 are second-year men, and Willie McCovey told us, as everybody's saying, they're making mistakes. They're making mistakes not only with the glove, throwing to the wrong base, but mental mistakes. They're not where they should be. Well, he had Spire 3-0 and struck him out with the next 3 pitches. Well, Jenkins just doesn't put anybody on there. Here, switch hitting Ken Henderson, hitting at 205. But in the last 10 games, Ken has been hitting at a 382 pace. 205 becomes very misleading. Right. Well, let's see. 1969, the Mets won it all. In the 1970, didn't do too well. In 1970, Cincinnati went to the World Series and collapsed in 71. 1971, the Giants made it all the way to the National League playoffs, and here they're playing the worst ball percentage-wise of any team in the league. They've only won 31% of their games. On deck. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count to Henderson with big Willie McCovey on deck. Speaking of that 69 season, remember Atlanta? They were in those playoffs with the Mets and lost to the Mets, and Atlanta collapsed to 5th in 1970. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now back, Henderson is one of the faster men. Only you're talking about the speed of a Bobby Bonds and the unusual speed for a big man of Dave Kingman. Henderson adds to that speed.
Jimmy, look at the first 3 men in the Giants lineup, Bonds, Spire, and Henderson. All potentially are 30-base-plus base stealers. Kingman can steal you a lot of bases. It already has it. Your Maddox and Fuentes can give you 25 or 30 stolen bases.
That's a fair ball gobbled up by Fanzone, who beats Henderson in the race for the bag, and Jenkins has a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, hits, and no errors and none left. And at the end of 1, Chicago nothing and San Francisco nothing.
I see you out there. I hear you singing from the rooftops. You're making it work from home, or you're still going to work every morning. You're carrying the weight. You're lifting our spirits. And you are there for your community. Yeah, you. Turns out you're a lot stronger than you think. Your strength is inspiring to all of us. Thank you.
I'm Mike Zen, CEO of the University of Illinois Hospital and Clinics. To our doctors, nurses, and entire staff at UI Health, thank you. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, your guidance and courage have been an inspiration. Our deepest gratitude is for your commitment to our patients. Your brave, selfless care exemplifies what makes us great. And Chicago, we are here for you. We will get through this together.
As we go to the top of the 2nd inning, here's Carmen Fanzone, hitting at 258, 4 home runs, and 20 RBIs. No score, Steve Stone, the Giants pitcher. Strike. I think I told you that Fanzone plays baseball and also the trumpet. He teaches and plays trumpet professionally in the off-season. And his own teammates blew the whistle on him the other day. That's outside, 1-1. Down in Los Angeles, Billy Williams and J.C. Martin called the hotel and said someone was playing a trumpet in their hotel. The manager checked. Carmen Fanzone. Down low through the legs of Dave Rader. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Let's take a look at the youngster in center field for these Giants, Elliot Maddox. He has a power hitter up, and I don't know if you can tell from that shot, but he plays a very shallow center field. I think I said Elliot, Gary Maddox. They say he can really go back. He knows how to play the fences here in Candlestick. Knows when he hits that dirt track, he's got a couple more steps before the fence.
2-2 the count, fouled off. Well, speaking of Maddox, there's one of the mistakes they've made. Sam McDowell pitching a fine ball game on Thursday. Maddox is out there. You can see the dirt track Tony was talking about. Maddox was out there, line drive hit at him, and with all that speed, Maddox got there, but he forgot to do one thing, catch the ball. Went right by him for a bases-loaded triple, and that's one of the ways the Giants have lost ball games. That's hit off the fist, foul territory. Over comes Dave Kingman, looking up into the sun, and has it. And as I say, a lot of the white showing, but Kingman holds on to it. Rick Monday, the batter. Monday used to play across the bay for Oakland. Says now about playing in the National League, not only does he not know the pitchers in the National League because he's seeing them for the first time around, but also he doesn't know how to play the hitters. So he's got to look at Williams or Cardinal and say, which way do I move? Youngster, one of the many out of Arizona State. Inside, Leo DeRocher, it has been a legend that he has been looking for a center fielder for his ball club for some years now. They gave up Kenny Holtzman for the A's to get Monday, and he is not disappointed. There's the strike. Change up, 1 ball, 1 strike. Monday hitting, as you saw, 298, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs.
Al DeRocher will agree that this is the best outfield all around he's had with the Cubs since he's been here. He also has Hickman who can play it, and North.
Opposite field, Maddox over, Henderson over. Maddox was playing him over there, and look at that. He was playing Monday to hit to the opposite field, and Tony has set it up. He knows how to go back there and climb up and get it.
Let's look at it again. There you saw him. He hit the track, and he took one glance downward, knows he is approaching the fence. You can see the poles all padded as he goes into his leap, the right hand touching the fence. So that he doesn't jar the fence, it acts as a cushion. But he will not bounce off the fence and lose the ball. A fine running catch. And Jim, we saw something else, the difference in Candlestick Park. Ordinarily, before the park was completely enclosed, that wind would be blowing in a gale from left field. This one kept drifting out toward left field.
Here's Jose Cardinal, 264 hitter, and he lashes this one into left field. Henderson is there and backs up and takes it on 1 hop. That is the first base hit off Stone. Well, Maddox, he said the other night, forgot to catch the low line drive there in plenty of time. This time makes a great catch, but that's what happens with youth. Cardinal has been doing extremely well for the Cubs. Ron Santo, when was the last time you can remember Ron Santo with all of that power hitting number 7 in the lineup? Trouble this year with a fractured right hand, but he is back, and that right wrist is still very much swollen. Cardinal can fly. He can steal bases. Cousin of a great base stealer, Campy Campaneris of Oakland.
And they feed Santo a lot of breaking balls, so Cardinal could get a good pitch to steal on.
Inside with the fastball. 2 out in the second. Cardinal at first. There's no score. That's McCovey holding Cardinal on. Good to see stretch back. He broke an arm. Broke both arms as a kid playing different sports, football and ice skating, I think. And then he fractured an arm. Look out. Fractured an arm earlier this year.
I have to take a guess, Jim, and say this is an excellent pitch for Cardinal to steal on. I'd like to get in scoring position for Santa with 1 out.
He bluffed going. The Cubs have not been stealing too many bases this year. They are not a base-stealing ball club, as opposed to the Giants, who were not either, but are this year, thanks to the presence of Bobby Bonds, Henderson, and Big Dave Kingman. Cardinal has done about all the stealing that has been done by the Cubs this year. 10. 2-0, and there he goes. The ball is cut on, lifted to the left side. Kingman glasses down again, looking for his second put out of the inning, and gets it. No runs, 1 hit. No errors. Cardinal stranded between first and second base. We go to the last of the second inning. Score remains Chicago 0 and San Francisco 0. Here's Willie McCovey. Only been to bat 30 times, and everybody pulls way around, and Cardinal's almost left the ballpark. He was playing against the screen, but that is Fanzone to make the put out on the system. Dave Rader next, 239. While we were away, Tony, I noticed something again. It reminded me again that Ferguson Jenkins is one of the few pitchers that, when he comes out of the dugout, sprints to the mound to begin his warm-ups.
He does it. Juan Marichal also does it with the Giants. I don't know if Juan's still doing it with the poor showing he's had thus far this year. Was he 2-9?
Yeah, what are they saying about Marichal? What is his problem? Has he lost anything? Has he run into bad luck or what?
They say he's pitching fairly well. He had a bad outing the last time out, but generally speaking, most of his games and talking to the other pitchers have been pretty good games. He's been hurt by lack of runs and by defensive lapses by his defense.
He strikes the count. Can you imagine Denny McLean down in the minors? Can you imagine Bob Gibson now going well, being 0-5 before he wins his first one, and Juan Marichal being 2-9? Nearly incredible. Yeah, the Brobirds of Texas, the Bly-11s of Minnesota, Steve Stones of the Giants, Putin's of Chicago, they're going to turn things around. Tough chance here for Popovich, and it's under his glove. Raider looking for the extra base, does not get it. So Randy Hundley backing up there.
Give a hit to the artificial surface in there. Just kept rolling it on by him. Popovich looked like he was going to get it. Playing very deep, ranging to his left. But the ball just picks up speed on the artificial surface.
Well, here are the big man's averages. 232, 14 home runs. Johnny Bench has 15. And 38 RBIs. He leads the team in home runs and RBIs and also in strikeouts with 53. Kingman, a big swinger, lots of speed for a big man. Lashes it. Santos got it, throws across the first. There's an almost easy double play. Man was off the bag, but Fanzone had to take the low throw from Santo and tag the bag. So Kingman lashes into a double play. No runs, one hit, no errors, and none left. We've gone 2 full innings now, and it's still Chicago nothing and San Francisco nothing.
Introducing. Oh, and right after that, we had to stop production on my first ad as owner of Mint Mobile because, So instead of an epic ad, I created an epic slide. Mint Mobile is premium wireless for just $15 a month. Crazy, right? See, slides can be compelling. Ooh, thank you, slide. Oh, the Mint Fox.
This isn't forever. It's a moment in time. We may be isolated, but we're still connected. We navigate individually, but experience this together. We're Chicago. We know how to hunker down and push through. We'll come out stronger, more resilient. Look forward to the day we'll share these spaces once again. From us at Wintrust to all of you, hang in there. We'll see you on the other side.
You're watching the Marquee Mystery Game. Let's get back to the action.
From Candlestick Park in San Francisco, Steve Stone taking his warm-ups. He's going to face Randy Hundley, who has been injured so much. He has had 2 major knee operations in the last couple of years, played only 9 games all last year, is not hitting well this year, 197, and in talking to him and in talking to the Cubs, it's tough on him, Tony, when you've had both these operated on to be a catcher and have to crouch down and get up and down all the time. It really takes the toll.
Jim, Hundley has had quite a few bases stolen on him so far early in the year, and a lot of people are saying because of the weakness in his knees coming back of almost a year and a half of inactivity has really kept him from being able to spring out of that crouch, especially on the low pitch, and get something on his throws. The Cubs got a little something different, a number right in the center. I don't see any other team with that.
Yeah, it reminds me of a basketball uniform. Hundley was in the Giants farm system for 6 years, and he is a real team leader, and he gets a high, hard one up under the chin. Talking to some of the Cubs, Tony, they said that the manufacturer of these nifty-looking double knits here put the number there instead of offsetting it, is on most uniforms, and when they got it back to the Chicago Cubs front offices, some of the people back there looked at it and said, I like it. So they kept it there. But they have no number at all on their front of their at-home jersey, only on the away, and it's in the center. I have not seen that anyplace else. 3 balls, no strikes to Hundley. No score. We're in the top of the 3rd. That's a strike, and Hundley couldn't believe it. John Kibler behind the plate. Over at third base there, that's Pete Reeser, third base coach, one-time great. Ernie Banks is at the other one, and that is off the glove of Kingman. Hundley with those knees does not have great speed, and there's the off-speed throw, and he is still in with a double.
Kingman almost came up with a whale of a play, Jim. He's 6'6" and has pretty good quickness and agility at third base, although he's still just learning the position. He played first base, of course, when McCovey was out with a wrist injury. And at 6'6", he just barely got the tip of his glove on that line smash.
Well, Cy Young Award winner of last year, Ferguson Jenkins, is up. And last year, aside from winning all those ball games and completing 30, he hit 6 home runs. Horace Kingman has sneaked into the edge of the artificial grass, figuring that in this scoreless ball game, They would love to move Hundley over to third and give Kessinger and Popovich a chance at getting him home. There's a bunt, but it's popped up in the air. Nobody can get to it. Well, it's the old saying, when you're pitching to a man that wants to bunt, you want to keep the ball high, so he'll pop it up. That ball was up almost in the eyes of Jenkins. He popped it up, but nobody could get to it.
Kind of a difficult thing, especially now with nobody out and the man on second base, and Jenkins swings the bat fairly well. If you get the ball up in the strike zone, which is where you want it in a bunt situation, you've got to make sure you get something on it. Usually these pitchers are high ball hitters, and if you just try and get up in the strike zone with nothing on it, he's liable to take a swish at it.
Pardon me, Tony, that's Kingman on the upper left-hand corner there, getting ready to charge in. That's a strike, and now with 2 strikes on him, Jenkins takes a look down to Pete Reeser. Cubs are well in this race in the National League. They'd like to win again, whereas the Giants are well out of the race. Can you believe the Giants only winning, as we said, a little bit better than 31% of their games, 17-37. But in the National League East, Chicago's only 5.5 out after losing 9 of their first 11. They've been hot since they're 5 games above the 500 mark. And with about 4 months of the season to go, don't count out Chicago.
Rader going out to alert his pitcher Stone of the possibilities right here. He's probably telling him, hey, listen, even with 2 strikes, he still may bunt, so put something on the ball. And by no means, with that man in scoring position, do not let the pitcher hurt you in this situation when you've got 2 strikes on him. Let's make a good pitch.
He's swinging and missing. Second strikeout for young Steve Stone, and that'll bring up Kessinger, who is his other strikeout to lead off the ball game. Hundley led off with a double off Kingman's glove. Had not Dave been 6'4", Tony, I don't think he would have had any play on it.
Kessinger, one of the players who has had his switch hitting exploits somewhat successful, as has Tito Fuentes of the Giants.
Now, Beck, I don't know if you remember this, Tony, but it was 6 years ago last month. You and I were doing our game in Wrigley Field, Chicago, and that was the first day that Kessinger switch hit in the major leagues. And did that make a different hitter and an all-star shortstop out of this young man?
Well, he was on the verge of being sent back down to the minor leagues, and there's no telling what would have happened. It's his bat on the ball. He plays that third baseman, gets him charging for a bunt, slaps it by him.
That ball is foul. Well, as good as Don is at making contact with the ball, the fellow that usually bats right behind him, Glenn Beckert, is something special. He very seldom strikeouts, has led the league for years and years in striking out least. But as we said, he pulled a hamstring in the Thursday game and is out, and Popovich is on deck now in his place. There's Paul. What a star he was in basketball at the University of West Virginia. No score, top of the third. Hundley with 1 out is off second. Now the pickoff play, and look out, he's back in plenty of time, but it looked as though Steve Stone was about to throw the ball into center field. Maddox hustling in to back him up.
A lot of times, Jim, the value of that pickoff play is overlooked. It wasn't even closer, but still Hundley will hold a little bit closer, and those outfielders may just have a little bit better shot with Kessinger, not a hard hitter up at the plate. They may have a better shot for Hundley at home plate just by holding him a little closer with a fake throw or a throw.
2-strike pitch is up high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now times change. Steve Stone, of course, last year did not have a great year at all. He was 3 in 1971, 5-9 record. That ball's out of play. Had a 4-point-plus earned run average. He was down with Phoenix and up with the Giants. This year he's doing 1.92 as an earned run average. Had a personal 3-game winning streak going until he lost the last time out. Hundley last year only played in less than 10 ball games, as we said. 9 bad knees. Look out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kessinger is a great basketball player at Ole Miss, Southeastern Conference, All Conference, and as we said, coach there, and they went in and played pro basketball just a couple of years ago. This is to left field. Hundley will have to hold up as Henderson comes over near the line in fair territory and now wings the ball back to second, and just back in time is Hundley. Here's Popovich. That's Hundley down at second base. Talking about Paul playing basketball at West Virginia, one of his teammates there was a fellow by the name of Jerry West, who finally played for a championship team, and what a season the Lakers had. Popovich is now up for the 23rd time. Hit the first pitch last time up and grounded to 20s at second base. Only time Popovich has gotten his 3 hits, all in one game against the Mets about 2 weeks ago. 3 for 3 that day.
Infielders now with 2 outs and that runner on scoring position should have one thing in mind, a ball that they can get near to. Try and knock it down. You can play a little bit deeper to prevent that run from scoring. Keep the ball in the infield if you can.
0-2. Speaking of that, Tony, Fuentes has backed up along the lines that mark the infield. He is playing short right field. In softball, he'd be the 10th man on the field. He'd be playing right shortstop. See him back there? Back of the line. Wants to make sure, as Tony said, that keep the ball in play. Popovich pretty quick, but they don't want Hundley to come all the way in. One ball, 2 strikes. Bright sunlight. Yesterday afternoon here in San Francisco, we had pretty much rain. It was very cold, temperature about 51 or 2, and they called last night's game. And then we had a bad forecast for today. Suddenly last night cleared, and today is just beautiful. Temperature in the 60s. Elstone had him 0-2 and has moved the ball inside and outside, and now high and inside, and has wound up with a 3-2 count. 2 out. First base is open, so we'll watch to see what Hundley does do from second base. Does not mean that he's going to be going. They may have him running. He is not running. There's a ground ball. There's McCovey over. McCovey flips to Stone, and the Giants are out of the inning. Oh, we have now gone 2.5 innings. The score remains Chicago nothing and San Francisco nothing.
Let Marquee Sports Network deliver fresh baseball news and analysis to you with Cubs 360 Daily. Though baseball may be on pause, we're pulling together the most knowledgeable voices coming to you daily from their home to yours.
As we speak, I think there's going to be baseball this year. There's going to be baseball in some way, somehow.
Cubs 360 Daily, fresh each weeknight at 7:30 on Marquee Sports Network. Proudly presented by Miller Lite.
Now is the time to remember that picking each other up is what we all do best. Being a good friend, a good neighbor, a good partner. That's why Enterprise remains open. We're committed to helping essential workers and frontline responders help us all move forward. Because while the distance between us has gotten bigger, the one way we'll get through it is together.
We're all missing those special moments when baseball brings us together.
For now, let the memories of the good times help you through.
Thank you to those who are working on the front lines and to those keeping everyone going on the home front.
Thank you, Chicago, for staying safe at home.
We will have more of those memorable moments soon enough.
Live women's tennis is back as the Tennis Channel Reopen Tour continues. It's the UTR Pro Match Series. Live coverage Friday through Sunday daily at 11 a.m. Don't miss this exciting live tennis action all weekend long on Marquee Sports Network.
Here's Gary Maddox, who made the great play out in left center field, hitting at .255, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. A lot of speed. Started the year with Phoenix, called up. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bobby Bonds was talking about this Maddox speed. We all know how well Bobby Bonds runs. Well, Bonds says from home plate to first base or from home to second base, Maddox can beat him.
Right field, and Cardinal is there, chasing a little bit in the wind and has it. What a job, as we said, Jose has done for the Cubs this year, leading them in several offensive departments. Here's Tito Puente, hitting at .257, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. Switch hitter has not been playing too much lately because he has been injured, but is back in the lineup. Strike. I was thinking, talking to Willie McCovey and others about how times have changed. I can remember Jim Ray Hart at third base, Al Lanier at shortstop, Lanier playing some second base, Ron Hunt down at second base. McCovey, of course, was at first. Haller behind the plate. Mays in the outfield. This ball club has really turned around, the Giants.
I have a hunch, Jim, that the second half of this year, the Giant team is going to come alive, and some of these kids are going to get their feet on the ground, and they're going to have cause some trouble in this National League.
By the way, Tony, you're the hitter, not me, but when I get a shot again of Fuentes there, no, that's not the way normally most people stand as a hitter.
Extremely closed. The tendency would be to pitch inside, as you see Jenkins doing, because those hips are locked. You've got that right hip and your back facing the pitcher. But the smarter hitters, and Tito Fuentes has learned this, he learns to pull that right front foot out of the way and get those hips opened up.
And there's one. Second base hit off Ferguson Jenkins. Steve Stone, the batter now, with 1 out. Let's see if they're up there to move the man over with 1 out, and that he was up at 34 times last year without a hit. Here is Tito Fuentes again.
You got a breaking ball from Jenkins. You can see hardly did any striding at all on that one. Just lifted that right heel up. Got a breaking ball, a little bit down in the strike zone and pull it in the hole. Now they're looking for a bunt, Jim.
There's the bunt. Good-looking bunt. Tagged by Fanzone, but he has done the job. Fuentes is in at second base, and this will give a shot at Bobby Bonds. Here's Bonds, thrown out by Santo in the Giants' first scoreless game, and for the first time now, the Giants have a man as far as second base with 2 outs. Well, he's an excellent leadoff batter. Because of other problems, they had him batting down in the lineup. Ball 1.
Jim, something interesting about Bonds that came up in the game that Kurt and I had done earlier this year is Bobby Bonds at this stage of his career is ahead in statistics in a lot of departments over where Willie Mays was. RBIs, batting average, stolen bases.
Foul ball.
Bobby's the first to admit, when I do it over a stretch of about 20 years, then I'll start golfing like cat. So there'll never be another Willie.
I see where they gave an organization in New York City gave Donald Grant of the Mets an award for bringing Willie Mays back, for doing something for the city of New York, bringing a fellow back where he started his career to finish his career in appreciation. Fuentes at second, 2 out, scoreless ball game. Last of the third, Ferguson Jenkins. 10 straight complete ball games to his credit this year, 30 last year on the mound for the Cubs. Left field, back goes Williams, looking up, it's gone. On the board, out in left field is the expression "Bye Bye Baby" as Bobby Bonds has hit his 9th home run of the year. And "Bye Bye Baby," for those of you in New York and more recently in San Francisco, remember, used to be the way Russ Hodges, the late broadcaster of the Giants, used to signify the Giants have hit a home run. It's 2-0. The 52nd home run for the Giants, who lead the major leagues. Here's Spire, who struck out, hit this one off the fists out into short center field. Rick Mundy comes in and has it, and so the 2-out home run by Bonds has put the Giants out in front by the score of 2-0.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle, looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy, mow with an attitude.
We were made here. Like anyone who calls Chicago home, we're proud of that. Just like you, we root for this city. We respect what makes it unique, and we're actively working to create something that only gets better. When you're from Chicago, your word means something. You follow through, you keep your promises. At Wintrust, we've taken our place as Chicago's bank, because this is home. We're built here, for here. Can your bank say the same?
Well, Jim, before every fight, you hear Muhammad Ali come up with a little verse, and Ernie Banks, another man who is noted for his poetry, comes up with a little verse about the fortunes of the Cubs each year. Let's hear the verse for this year.
Something old, something new, the Cubs will win in 72.
Tell us about your ball club.
Our ball club right now is playing real good baseball. We have balanced hitting, good pitching, and our defense has picked up very, very well. So we feel right now that we're ready to go and win a string of ball games.
Tell you what, it's been said a lot of times before, Tony, but everybody in baseball, if everybody everywhere in all sports or walks of life could be like Ernie Banks, what a world it would be to live in. Here's Billy Williams. Line to Bonds, made a fine running catch on him, fouls this one back and toward us. Well, there is Williams on your left, and there is Willie McCovey on your right. And why do we show them together? Well, they used to play in a summer recreational league down in Mobile, Alabama, about 18 years ago. Both of them came up to the National League. McCovey was Rookie of the Year in '59, and Williams did it 2 years later, 1961. Speaking of Mobile, Alabama, we got to recall every time we mention that place, the Senior Bowl, televised by NBC, and all of the fine sports fans down there. Here's Billy Williams and his record against the Giants last year. Count on him as 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants trail 2-0 on the home run by Bonds. The Mets now lead Houston 5-2 after 6. Cincinnati and Montreal were postponed. Atlanta, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh at Los Angeles, and St. Louis and San Diego all tonight. California and Boston have gone 2 innings with no score. Cleveland has gotten 5 against Woodson and now lead Minnesota 4-1 after 8. Oakland, which has won 7 in a row, leads Detroit, and Mickey Lolich, who is now out of there, replaced by Mealer, 3-1 after 6. Milwaukee trailed Chicago 5-0 after 6. Baltimore, Texas tonight. New York at Kansas City also tonight. Count is all the way 3-2 to Williams, the leadoff batter, and the Cubs 4th. Struck him out. Third strikeout for Steve Stone. Armand Van Zoon, the batter, foul to Kingman in the 2nd inning. Hits this one off the fist. It's foul out of play. Van Zoon, we did a lot of talking about his trumpet playing, and I think I mentioned that he started out in the majors playing for the Red Sox, 1970. Then he only played 12 games with the Cubs in '71, and I was getting a full shot here in 1972 in the major leagues.
Van Zoon's hitting style will remind you a little bit in the His body structure also reminds you a little bit of Joe Torre. Does not have a real smooth swing. It's more brute force. He's very strong, stockily built.
Oh, beautiful change. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mentioning Torre, I think he's done more for Weight Watchers of America than any diet ever devised or any advertisement. He's hitting .342 this year after winning it all last year, after going on whatever diet he was on to lose all that weight. So as someone reaches for an extra bowl of suds as they watch us, you might put that in the chippies down for the moment.
He and Matty Lou seem to be changing places almost daily in that hitting lead in the National League.
Stone took something off that pitch, and Panzone was way out in front of him. We're in the top of the 4th, 2-0. Giants lead on Bobby Bonds' home run in the last of the 3rd with 2 out.
Look at those top 5 hitters in the National League. 4 of the 5 are names you'd expect to see: Matty Lou, Torre, Sanguine, and Tolan. Bill Buckner, the Dodgers, hitting at .324, off to a real fine start. American League, Pinella of Kansas City at .335, Rudy .330, Allen of the White Sox .327, Braun of Minnesota, a surprise, at .312, and Veda Pinson at .307.
Called out on strikes. 4th strikeout for Steve Stone, his 2nd in a row. And here is Mundy. And when Mundy was up in the 2nd inning, Gary Maddox played him around in left center field as he is playing him now. Mundy hit a long ball toward the fence, might have cleared the fence. Maddox climbed the fence, put his right hand on that fence out there in left center field, and made a fine grab. And as you can see, even now, Maddox is pulled around to left center field for the left-handed hitting Mundy. Mundy is the only major leaguer with 3 home runs in 1 game this year. He went 4 for 5, 3 home runs and a single in Philadelphia in mid-May. Mundy's one of those fellows, Tony, that's going to have you and I and everybody looking to our laurels once he decides to hang him up. He is very intelligent. He is very good-looking. And he sounds like every deep-voiced announcer you ever heard on a soap opera. He is going to be some kind of performer on radio and television if he decides to, and he would like to. Fouls this out of play.
Are you a little bit worried about all the jocks coming in? Tommy Seaver.
Well, look at it this way. They got long careers ahead of them.
I'm worried.
Outside, it is 3-1 to Mundy.
Mundy with a great eye at the plate, too. He has 31 bases on balls. He really looks them over carefully.
Oops, there's number 32. That is the first walk given up in the ball game. And now the Cubs send the tying run to bat Cardinal, who singled to left field. Has a chance now. He does have 6 home runs and 29 RBIs to get the Cubs on the board. 11 years ago, Cardinal was playing in the Giants organization as a 3rd baseman. Came up to the majors, mostly in the American League, and as you saw, has been quite a base stealer. Only 5 hits in this game. Giants have 3 of them, and they got him at first base. Mundy is picked off on a fine move by Steve Stone. Well, that's what Rick was saying. He doesn't know the pitchers in this league, and Stone caught him.
Watch this quickness. Mundy just leaning to his right. Picked off. Good tag by McCovey. With 2 runs down, it's not the time with a potential home run hitter at the plate in Cardinal. Not the time you want to get picked off a base.
Leo will say something about that. The runs, hits, or errors, and Mundy is not left on base. Last of the 4th we go. 2-0. San Francisco leads Chicago.
Now is the time to remember that picking each other up is what we all do best. Being a good friend, a good neighbor, a good partner. That's why Enterprise remains open. We're committed to helping essential workers and frontline responders help us all move forward. Because while the distance between us has gotten bigger, the one way we'll get through it is together.
Well, this is overwhelming. Where to start? Listen to celebrity decorators with their million-dollar budgets and enormous staff? That's realistic. Or just step into a store. Oh, no. There's a better way. You've skimmed catalogs. You've browsed through blogs. You know what you like when you see it. Artful contemporary, Scandinavian minimalism, organic modern. You know what you want. Overstock's where you find it. Now let's get to work. A sofa, a floor lamp, an area rug. Never forget the area rug. Everything you need with free shipping every day. Easy, right? Getting it done with Overstock, where quality costs less.
Ken Henderson, who grounded the fan zone in the first inning, up for the second time. This one is down the line and foul.
Jim, as you mentioned, I think the baseball fans are aware of it, but it's very important that some of these players having good years in their hometowns, their name can be written in. Dave Kingman, for instance, here with the Giants, whose name is not on the ballot, having a fine year. It's Billy Grabarkowitz, wasn't it, a couple of years ago, who made the All-Star team strictly in writings. I wish I could spell his name. They finally put it down Billy G, didn't they?
All I know is, speaking of that, he said that if he spreads his arms, they can't see the G or the Z in his name on the back of his uniform. He's got to kind of hunch forward so he can read around his shoulders from left to right. If he spreads his arms, you miss the G and you miss the Z. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Henderson, the switch hitter. Cleveland has defeated Minnesota 4-1. Wilcox outpitched Dick Woodson. Twins have now lost 3 in a row, 7 of their last 9. This is fouled upstairs. And, of course, they're in hot pursuit of a club by the name of Oakland, which has won its last 7 in a row. And Oakland this afternoon is doing very well, thank you, beating Mickey Lolich at the moment 5-1 after 7. Big Willie McCovey stands on deck as the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes to Henderson. Ferguson Jenkins 6-5 to show you the kind of pitcher he is. 6-5 with 10 complete ball games. They play Henderson pretty deep. 6 home runs, 14 RBIs. Watch when McCovey comes up. Cardinal, as I said, he'll just leave the ballpark. Al Fanzone's going to get the chance to do the same thing he did before, retire Henderson. McCovey, who suffered that broken arm collision with John Jeter on April the 18th, returned last week on NBC. You saw him hit a home run and a double and 4 times at bats. Since then, he has gone 0 for 15. But Cardinal almost, well, now he's even backing even farther toward that path out in right field. If McCovey hits one, even there won't do him any good. McCovey can hit him upstairs. Giants are out in front on the strength of a Bonds home run, 2-0.
You know, Jim, in the past, some managers against McCovey have actually used four-man outfields. They've taken their third baseman and left the left side of the field completely open and moved him out to right center field, and that's not a bad idea.
This is foul.
Just as soon give McCovey that entire left side of the infield and concede a single.
Well, if Willie, who seldom does, should hit one to left toward third base, he can make it. See, the man over there at shortstop is really the third baseman, Ron Santo. Now, as we swing around, take a look at where Cardinal is. He keeps backing up and backing up and backing out in deep right field.
Something else going on the other side of the field. Third base umpire, Ed Sudol. And I think he is being talked to by members of the Giants, Charlie Fox. He has to look at the baseball as Jenkins moved off the pitching surface. There's Sudol, the third base umpire. He thought maybe a little foreign substance applied to it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, our Monday Night Baseball games begin on this Monday at 8 o'clock. Detroit will be at Minnesota, and that broadcasters, part 1 of our pregame show, 2 parts, going back to Harry Arlen, who was the first baseball broadcaster. You'll hear many familiar names. Red Barber, Mel Allen, Russ Hodges, Rosie Rosewall, everybody. 3 balls, 2 strikes to McCovey. High, fouled, out of play. I do believe Hunley comes over. Now Hunley thinks he's got a shot at it and did have a shot at it. Wind is blowing, and I think it blew it back out of the stands, but Hunley was very slow heading for it.
Surprisingly enough, Carmen Fanzone, who was farther away from the ball when it was hit, but he gave up on the ball too. He took one look, decided it was in the stands, but this wind high above Candlestick blew it back in the park, and it gives McCovey another chance.
All the people in the major leagues, one of the few you don't want to give another chance is Willie McCovey. Jenkins, a Cy Young Award winner against home run champion of other years, Willie McCovey. Ball 4, he did not go around. So instead of McCovey being out, he gets the lease on life. And Jenkins, who seldom gives up a walk, walked him. Here's Dave Rader. Here's Rader, singled past Popovich in the second inning. Strike one. Talking about the wind here at Candlestick and the way they've enclosed it. You're taking a look now, and Fanzona's holding McCovey on there with the left-handed batter Rader up. He is not moving back.
Bluffing him, and then he's moving back as the pitch is on its way.
Left field could be trouble. Over comes Billy Williams, but it falls into the Chicago bullpen. Started to talk about Candlestick Park and all the additional seats here and the wind, not nearly like it used to be. Talking about this coming out this morning, Tony, can you believe that Candlestick Park, and it was renovated, is the second oldest stadium in the National League? Philadelphia had an old one, got a new one last year. Cincinnati, a couple years ago, Crosley Field, they moved out of that. Pittsburgh, same thing. The only one older is good old Wrigley Field, Chicago. Ernie Banks says you play under the only light worth playing under, and that's God's sunlight.
We get a chance to watch Hundley, and referring back to that pregame show with Bill Freehan on catching, watch Hundley how he shifts his feet, gives his target to different spots. And now, Joey Amalfitano, the first base coach of the Giants, caught Ferguson Jenkins in a ball.
There are many different ways to balk, of course, with motion or failure to complete motion, but you can actually put your ball in the glove, take it out, and put it back in, for example, and I think that's what Fergie might have done there. And Amalfitano, who has come back to the Giants for the 4th time. For the last 5 years, he was a coach with the Cubs, caught Jenkins on that.
You can do just about anything you want. There's Amalfitano. When your foot is not in contact with the rubber, I think what happened on that is that with his foot in contact with the rubber, Jenkins thought he had his sign. He started his hands, and then he dropped them. So you cannot do anything to deceive while your foot is in contact with that rubber, either the hitter or the base runner. Amalfitano caught it. Plate umpire Johnny Kibler and first base umpire Nick Colossi did also, and they immediately sent McCovey to second base, where he's now in scoring position.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Giants lead at 2-0. Bobby Bonds hit a 2-run home run in the last of the 3rd with 2 out. We have 1 out here, and McCovey now down at second base. 2-2. Willie McCovey, who along with Juan Marichal and very few others are the last of the old guard of the Giants. 3-2. Now remember, as we said, Jenkins just doesn't walk many people. He went 14 games last year without giving up a single walk. He had a 3-2 count on McCovey, a foul fly that could have been caught. Fanzone didn't go for it at all. Honey started late. Everybody thought he was out of here. So given another chance, Jenkins gave up the walk. Now he has balked McCovey to second and has a count of 3-2 on Rader. Ground ball. Popovich waits for it, goes on to first, and Rader at least has advanced his man over to third base and allowing Dave Kingman, who lashed a line drive at Santo that was turned into a double play back in the second, have a real chance to drive him in.
You know, Kingman recently, Jim, had been having a lot of trouble. I think he saw his name up at the top of that home run column in the National League and started swinging for home runs, as he'll be the first to admit. And then just the last game against St. Louis, he cut down on his swing consciously. Swinging a little bit quicker, a little bit shorter on his swing, and they finally convinced him that as strong and as big as he is, the home runs will come. Just make contact.
Giants have won only 6 of 32 games at home, but Kingman has hit 10 of his 14 home runs at home. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave is one of those increasing numbers of baseball players and football players that wears glasses and winds up wearing contact lenses while playing the sport. Good pitch, and he took it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I had some films of Kingman when he was in the throes of this strikeout slump, and it showed where, as he was swinging hard, his head was actually jerking off the ball before it got to home plate. Now he's crouching more and keeping his head in.
Kind of flipped the bat at that a little late, and Kessinger glasses down, now chasing it in the wind and has it. And so Jenkins gets out of a somewhat touchy inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error. There was also a balk, 1 man left. We've gone 4 full innings now. And the Giants lead the Cubs 2-0 on the strength of that 3rd inning home run by Bobby Bonds.
Hey, Guy. Hi there. Welcome to HIMS.
Should have done it years ago, and I feel like the young stud that I always imagined I was.
Outstanding product. Works above and beyond our expectations.
This has been a life changer, even in just a few weeks.
Featured in GQ, Playboy, and Men's Health. Find out what all the buzz is about.
Go to forhims.com/ED and get started with a free online visit while supplies last.
We will get our momentum back. Our businesses back. Our smiles back. Ourselves back. Because that's what this community does. At First Midwest Bank, we want to thank our colleagues for doing everything they can to help our clients and our communities get through this. Because we are all in this together. And together, we will get our momentum back. First Midwest Bank.
You're watching the Marquee Mystery Game. Let's get back to the action.
Back at Candlestick Park. First over in 1960, and Jose Cardinal, who was at bat, he had singled in the 2nd inning. He was at bat in the 4th. He has 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, and Rick Mundy found himself picked off first base. And that took the bat right out of the Cardinals' hands and took the bats right out of all of the Cubs' hands as they had to go out and play defense for a while. And so now Cardinal is leading off the 5th inning of this 2-0 ball game. What a ball player at the age of 17, back in 1961. It was a league called the Sophomore League. For El Paso, he led that league in home runs and in stolen bases. Had 35 home runs and 64 stolen bases, and guess whom he used to play for? He was a member of the Giants organization. Steve Stone, by far and away the most effective starting pitcher in recent starts for the San Francisco Giants on the mound.
We've had a chance to see with nobody on base how the Giants catcher Rader is protecting that hand. Look at it behind him. Does not want to take any chance of injuring it with a foul tip, a foul ball hitting that meat hand. Man on base, he'll get that hand, the bare hand, in throwing position alongside the glove to get rid of the ball quicker.
Talking about Rader, as there's a walk. We'll talk about him in just a moment, but here comes Ron Santo to bat.
Jim Ronnie Santo, as most people know, I think by now, was discovered is a diabetic. He's been doing quite a bit of work in diabetes. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Well, Tony, I've been a diabetic for 13 years, and it came out last year, and I belong to the Diabetes Association Chicago, Greater Chicago, and I do a lot of speaking with younger children, and also go up to camps, the diabetic camps, and try to help people understand diabetes, and I think that a great example is myself being diabetic for 13 years and playing in the major leagues, and you just got to be able to understand. That's the main thing.
Words of Ron Santo to diabetics everywhere. Outside, you're talking, I started to say, Tony, you're talking about Rader, how he protects the play with nobody on. Steve Stone, the pitcher out there, has Dave Rader as his catcher here, but in college, His catcher was Thurman Munson, now with the New York Yankees, of whom you know a little bit about.
Pretty good young prospect.
Santo going for the fences to tie this one up. It's 2-0 Giants. Cardinal, the leadoff batter, getting the second base on balls given up by Stone. Last man he walked was Monday in the top half of the fourth inning, and he was picked off.
The statistics just flash as a pretty good average for 9 years, 900 over 9 years.
Two and one. Santo's right wrist, I think I told you, he fractured his right hand. His right wrist now, the wrist is just about as big as the width of his hand. I don't know if you can tell it there as he grabs it. Doesn't pain him like it used to, but still it pains him. And that wrist, very swollen. Cardinal has a lot of speed, and so Stone checks on him.
Originally, it was felt when Santo incurred that injury that he might be out, just a few days or a week, but it really has been a pesky kind of thing.
There goes Cardinal, and there's the ball. Line into left field. Cardinal is going to go for third. The play is in front of Henderson. Here's a throw. He's safe. Kingman let it go through him, but Cardinal might have beaten the throw anyway.
Let's watch Henderson again as he fields the ball on the right left field line. A good strong throw. You'll see the short hop off the artificial surface as Cardinal comes in hard.
Looked like Kingman lifted his head up, Tony, to see where he was.
The ball had him beat. It was just thrown so hard by Henderson that it handcuffed him. And now I think Charlie Fox is out, the trainer's out. I don't know if he was spiked by the hard sliding Cardinal or the ball hit him on the wrist, but they're having a good look at it. May have jammed something down there, Jim, that I think Cardinal's hard sliding just made Kingman take his eye off the ball just momentarily. A little bit of what some additional speed can do for a team.
Well, you know when you go from first to third. Here he comes again, losing his hat, and there it is. And now you can see him wave that right hand as he came up. One thing to go from first to third on balls hit to center field and on balls hit to right field, but when the ball is hit to left field and got out there very fast, was picked up on one hop, might have surprised Kingman and Henderson that Cardinal was on his way.
Well, everybody's been saying that Cardinal has been doing it all for these Cubs. He's been getting hits, stealing bases, driving in the runs in critical situations. And you just saw him right now make a very important slide where he just knocked the ball loose from Kingman's hand.
Well, he is waving in someone else because Kingman tried to throw the ball to Spire at shortstop, and when he threw it, it slipped off his hand and went way out into center field. And when Charlie Fox saw that, he said, "That's all," and waved in somebody else. Leo Hughes, in your picture there, the trainer of the Giants, walks off with Kingman. Now, when Kingman walks out, remember, he is the man that is leading the ball club in home runs with 14 and in RBIs with 38, has great speed, steals a lot of bases, second only to Bobby Bonds. So the injury to Kingman can be very costly. No question about that. Well, the fellow with all of the names, Gallagher, is coming in. And I say all of the names, I think he's got about 6 names. They call him Alan Gallagher, but his name is Alan Mitchell Edward George Patrick Henry Gallagher. We'll watch this again, and Tony, you'll see that hand flip up here.
Let's watch it again. Cardinal coming in very high, both feet off the ground. The throw by Henderson just barely has him beat. Now you see the ball scooting away from Kingman even before Cardinal hit him, but still, just the intimidation and the speed and the great hard slide of Cardinal set that play up and eventually got Kingman out of the ball game.
There is Alan Gallagher. He is another area resident. But right now, Steve Stone, as we return to the ball game in which the Giants lead 2-0, he's in a little bit of trouble. With Santo on at first, Cardinal running on the pitch, racing to third, none out. Hundley, who doubled off the glove of Kingman back in the third inning, is up again, and there's a strike on the outside corner. Hundley not only a good catcher, but a real team leader for the Cubs. 1 ball, 1 strike. So pencil Alan Gallagher in at third base and take out Dave Kingman for the Giants. Two and one. Randy, who, as we said, used to play for the Giants, was in the Giants organization at least. His first 4 years with the Cubs, he caught 153 games on average a year. The last 2 seasons, you're watching the Giants warm up there. That's Carruthers. Last 2 seasons, he's only caught 81 games, only 8 last year. So he's gone from an Iron Man down to a man that has just not been able to play too much because of those knees. That is Cardinal over at third base and Ron Santo at first. Count is 3 balls, 1 strike. Now with Jenkins due up, although a pretty good hitter, this is where Hundley is really looking for his pitch to swing on 3 and 1, and well, he didn't think he had it, but John Kibler calls it strike 2.
Jim, working with Sandy Koufax every week, and Sandy, of course, a great analyzer of pitchers. I know Sandy would appreciate this fellow right here. He knows how to work the hitters over. 3 and 1 count. He still had confidence enough to come in with a breaking ball. He's up there knowing that that hitter Hundley is looking for the fastball, geared to get something high in the strike zone to hit it to the outfield, and he gave him a good breaking pitch.
Struck him out. And Cardinal was very nearly picked off. Rader bluffed and then threw down there. That's the 5th strikeout for Stone. Has been very tough with men on base. Now here's Jenkins, 2 RBIs this year. Gave up the home run to Bobby Barnes to put him down 2-0. Now has a chance to get a run in here. Ferguson, pretty good hitter. Last year, those 6 home runs also hit .243. That led all of the pitchers in the National League who had been to bat at least 40 times.
Never know about that bunt, Jim.
He looked like he was going to swing high and away. The lead of it up to light hitting but contact making Don Kessinger should Ferguson decide to bunt. Of course, you don't know what Cardinal's going to do down there at third base. How many times DeRocher's tried squeezes in a situation like this. Now he's going to look down to Pete Reeser again. There's Kessinger. Stone, as we said, has been very, very tough. He struck out 5, walked 2, 1 in this inning, given up just 3 hits, but has not allowed a run. 2-0. He's swinging again. Ground ball. Cardinal's going to come home. Barehanded by Gallagher, and he's safe. Dropped the ball, they said, and here comes Charlie Fox. 2-1. Fine play by Gallagher. Great play.
And everyone has told us, what's this by Gallagher, barehanding it. Everyone has said that Cardinal has been doing it all. Gallagher makes a good play. Plate umpire John Kibler with a good angle. And you just saw with that blazing speed, Jose Cardinal just beat the throw. Again, coming in very hard, sliding very hard as he did into third base. He just got an excellent jump. No hesitation whatsoever, sliding just under the tag from Rader. Fine base running, getting the run for the Cubs by Jose Cardinal.
Fielder's choice puts Jenkins on at first. Santo, of course, has moved to second. We're in another 1-1, one-run ball game. Giants 2, Cubs 1, and here is Kessinger, who struck out and flied to short left field. Now, just you talk about doing it all, Tony, coming home on that play. He also went from first to third on the play right in front of him to Henderson in left field, and barely beat that throw. So don't underestimate the veteran Jose Cardinal. Now Kessinger will try to tie the game if he can with a base hit. Strike, good pitch. That Stone is in around that plate at all times.
He's a good pitcher. He just was intimidated on the base pass by Jose Cardinal. You know, Cardinal has had a tag put on him throughout his major league career, being a little bit moody, nonchalant, not putting out at all times. Well, he certainly did not display that tendency in the last series of base running. He was great.
You would have thought there that the Cubs are 5 games in front in the East instead of 5 games behind. Dick Dozier, by the way, the Chicago Tribune, made the comment to Tony in a pregame interview here that you heard on the air, I hope, that he thought that the Cubs lacked motivation. You can chalk up one fellow that doesn't, at least has not looked at here at Cardinal. That one misses. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. To Kessinger. Santo down at second. Jenkins on at first. Carruthers continues to warm in the Giant bullpen. A little pop fly, but it's fouled and back in the seats. 2-2. There's Carruthers, who's been warming for some time now. By the way, the Giants called up Randy Moffett. Billie Jean King just won the French tennis championship. She'd like to win Wimbledon, which NBC is going to televise in July. And her name before she married Larry King was Billie Jean Moffett. And Randy Moffett, the pitcher just called up by the Giants, is her young brother. Not her smaller brother. He's 6'3", about 190. But her younger brother. 2-2 to Kessinger. Left field, foul behind third. Charlie Williams went down, and if the name Charlie Williams is not familiar to you, he is the pitcher that the Giants got when Willie Mays went to New York. They sent him down. His run average well over 5 when he departed. Inside, it is 3-2. Now, you can hear some people clapping in back of home plate. I don't think they're clapping for Steve Stone to stop him. I think they're Chicago Cub fans. Sandy, I almost called you Sandy, Tony. Tony and I were out walking around last night. We saw quite a few people with the Cubs helmets on and Cubs jackets on, and there's a booster club here. So the clapping you hear are Cubs rooters rooting for Kessinger.
Dick Dozier in our booth now tells us they have 86 Cubs Booster Club members here at the ball game on a little tour.
2-1, they're running on the pitch. Short center field. Maddox is over. Henderson is in there and left, and here's a throw back to first base. Double play. Did not throw to second. Jenkins might have been guilty of lazing back to first, thinking they might try to make the play on Santo at second. And Henderson threw a man out. 1 run scores on 1 base hit. There are no errors and 1 left, and let's see this again, and you'll see that Jenkins is clearly out.
Pretty alert play by Henderson, seeing Santo had already made it back into second base, and then he made a long, accurate throw, and you see the great stretch by McCovey to get Jenkins.
So, as we go to the last of the 5th, it's the Giants 2 and the Cubs 1 here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
Every weekday night, tune into the stadium.
Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred wants to play as many games as possible as soon as possible.
If this 2020 Cubs team wants to get back to where they were at 2016, I think David Ross is going to be the right guy to lead them there.
If there was something that we could do to help stop the spread.
Common Man is looking for 1 or 2 or 3 men. We decided to help the common man.
The Stadium, weeknights at 7 on Marquee Sports Network. Presented by UI Health, changing medicine for good.
Restaurants are our family, the cornerstone of our communities. And our family needs help. Right now, they're facing a crisis, and they're counting on your takeout and delivery orders to help them through. Because if we don't treat restaurants like family today, they might not be around to treat us like family tomorrow. Grubhub. Together, we can help save the restaurants we love.
Get to know where to place your next bet on Follow the Money on Marquee Sports Network. Vegas veterans Mitch Ross and Paulie Howard host this hour-long show, share their knowledge of sports and gambling.
If they keep that together, who knows what happens in 99 and 2000. Maybe it's a 5-beat right then and there.
Get the most up-to-date information in live odds, predictions, and betting trends from the sports gambling capital of the world. Follow the Money, live weekday mornings at 6 on Marquee Sports Network.
Jim Simpson along now with Dick Dozier, the Chicago Tribune. Dick, very interested in hearing your remarks to Tony Kubek before the game. You felt that the Cubs are a great ball club, good pitching, good defense, a lot of all-stars, but they lack motivation. I just made the statement that Cardinal doesn't look like he lacks motivation.
No, he certainly doesn't. However, there are times when some of these veteran ball players, and Cardinal even would be one of those, in maybe, let's say, a game that's lost or a game that they're way ahead in, it seems to me at times that this team lets down. Now, I think it's probably an affliction that maybe reaches ball players when they get on a little bit in years. When you don't have a lot of young ball players hustling to make a position, hustling to win a job on the team, I think you see a little of that. And I think it's up to the manager or the coaches to shake them out of this. I think they're trying to do it. I just think that they haven't yet succeeded.
Well, I was just wondering also, Dick, as we will now turn to the action on the field here, and we'll talk to you, and Tony wants to ask you some more questions, whether or not possibly the fact that they had a little bit of trouble the last couple of years. They had a chance to win it all 2 years ago and faded fast, and last year they're out of it late. I'm just wondering, maybe extreme disappointment has also set in. The score as we now start the last of the fifth is 2-1 the Giants, and here is Gary Maddox, who's fly to right field. Jenkins working on him. This a fly to right field. Cardinal coming on, and there's that speed again.
Excellent speed, as you can see. This team has got a little bit of a different image than it has in the past. It probably, Dick, has the finest outfield that Leo DeRocher's had since he's been here.
Not only has the finest outfield, there's no question about the fact that this is the finest team that has been assembled top to bottom since in the 7 years now that Leo's been in charge.
Here's Tito Fuentes, single, went down to second on a bunt by Stone back in the third inning, and then Bobby Bonds drove him in ahead of him with his 9th home run of the year. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Giants. 1-3-0 for the Cubs. This is right field. Cardinal going back again and is there and has Fuentes. Steve Stone is up. You know, you talk about, when you say this is the finest ball club, Dick Dozier of the Chicago Tribune, you're saying that the Cubs should do very well. They're 5 games back, and it is your feeling that if they don't do better, something has gone wrong and perhaps a lack of motivation. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm also saying, too, though, and tempering that statement some, that this team is not doing all that bad. They were off 2-9 this year and have won basically a little more than 2 out of every 3 games since that time. But they are cast in a division here that's finding it very difficult for them to catch the leaders. The New York Mets, for instance, off with a lot of early foot, and now Pittsburgh coming on like everyone thought they would. They've got a tough job, even to catch these teams at the best.
Down is 2-2 now to Stone with 2 out, last of the 5th. Make that strikeout. I was talking to Dick here, and that is strikeout number 2 for Jenkins, and it's no runs, no hits, no errors. Now we've gone 5 full innings, and the Giants are still out in front of the Cubs by the score of 2-1. Jim Simpson with Tony Kubek as we go now to the top of the 6th inning. Giants lead the Cubs 2-1. We're also talking with Chicago Tribune sports reporter Dick Dozier. And Dick, here's some good news for you. The White Sox have defeated Milwaukee. Chuck Tanner's outfit winning again 6-1 with Tom Bradley winning his 7th ball game against 2 losses, and Ken Brett the loser. His record is just the opposite. He is now 2-7. As we go to the 6th inning, it'll be Popovich, Williams, and Panzone. Popovich is 0 for 2 as he steps in against Steve Stone.
Dick, in talking about this Cubs ball club with you earlier, it seems, as we mentioned before, to be a team of superstars, veterans, and yet how do they continually get beat in close ball games as they seem to go to these streaks or slumps?
Well, I think it's a team, Tony, that has been a little short on fundamentals, or application of fundamentals, or maybe concentration on them in spring training. You saw a little of it here today. Ferguson Jenkins failing to bunt at one time, later struck out, couldn't move the runner up. The Giants, on the other hand, did bunt with their pitcher. Then Jenkins balking, also getting picked off first base. Things seem to have ganged up on him today.
That is Fuentes throwing out the leadoff hitter, Popovich, and that'll bring up Billy Williams, who is 0 for 2. Bonds made a nice running catch on him back in the 1st.
Look, we've been kind of talking about lack of motivation, and you just mentioned now maybe a little bit of lack of work on fundamentals in spring training. And we've really kind of been avoiding the name Leo DeRocher in this whole thing. I want to put you on the spot. Does Leo have anything to do with this? Is Leo old?
Well,
people are saying this.
I think probably he's certainly seen his better days as a manager. He still has knowledge of the game as much as anyone there is. I think he's surrounded himself by a pretty good coaching staff, and we in Chicago just hope that he makes use of them properly. I mean, Pete Reeser's a fine baseball man. Larry Jansen, a great pitching coach.
There is DeRocher. It's Williams also retired by Fuentes. Here's Fanzono for 2, and you're talking about is he old, Tony? Leo will be 66 on July 27th. You see a lot of 66-year-olds around the country saying that's not old. Here's a base hit, first for Fanzone.
Well, I think this is, it's a young man's game, really. It's become a young man's game with the rigors of travel and so forth, too, in recent years.
You know, Dick, talking about Reeser had a shot when Leo was in the hospital with a virus or whatever it was finally diagnosed as being. Reeser took over the club and had a very poor record. There's Pete down at third base. As soon as Leo came back, the club started to move. How do you explain it?
That was a little difficult to explain, but I think actually the club was trying so hard to win for Reeser that with each succeeding loss, they got tighter. That's the best way I can explain it. It was a tight ball club at that point. Later relaxed and came on with the skills that they have, which of course will surface.
Well, here is Rick Monday, who has been retired on a great play by Gary Maddox and then thrown out, picked off by Stone. And he is up with a tying run down at first base in this 2-1 ball game. 2 out in the top of the 6th inning. Monday with great power, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. They play him, as we said, around to the left to hit to the opposite field.
Dick, one of the men involved in that supposed clubhouse squabble last year with Leo DeRocher was Kenny Holtzman. Of course, the trade was made, and here's the man they got for him. He's really been a big help to your club, hasn't he?
This has been one trade that has certainly helped both clubs. Holtzman's done a fine job for Oakland. Monday has fit in beautifully in the Cub program. Got 3 home runs in that one game, and just a super game he played. I think I was in Philadelphia earlier this year.
And you're going to have Joe Pepitone back shortly. He's working out with the club. Is he going to add a little bit to this punch for this club?
I think he will, yes. This team is short-handed right now. We're playing with 24 players, and I don't think a lot of people know, too, that 2 or 3 of them have been playing with minor injuries. Of course, I think you've publicized the one that Ron Santo has, the bad hand, but he's just learning to live with that pain and play with it. Don Kessinger's had a pulled abdominal muscle, and that's been bothering him, but he doesn't say much about it.
Here's Monday now, looking for his pitch with a count 3-1 and 2 out in Fanzone and at first base. Fouls it off.
Dick, a question about the pitching staff of the Chicago Cubs, and of course, especially important to me, I think, is the bullpen. The bullpen has been a relatively weak spot for the Cubs over the past few years, but it seems to have picked up with some trades or some acquisitions of players, hasn't it?
Yes, I think the Cubs have a fine bullpen, but when you have such good starters that they do, frequently your bullpen endures long periods of inactivity, and that has hurt them on occasions. This year they've had people that have been able to withstand that. Larry Jansen has them working out very diligently on the side, and they've been able to stay ready, and I think that's what a bullpen has to do, especially when you get into the middle of the season where you're playing more frequently.
Mm-hmm. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs staff leads the National League games with 22. There is a ball picked up by Fuentes. He throws out his 3rd man of the inning. And we thank you, Dick Dozier of Chicago, for that fine analysis of the Chicago Cubs. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the last of the 6, and those Cubs trail the Giants 2-1.
I've been with Nell now for 2.5 years, and I just feel like I am making a difference in her life. I know how much her family relies on me being there. It's about the bond that we form.
At Care.com, you can find the help your mom needs to stay independent at home. Search from lots of local caregivers who can help with meals, housekeeping, personal care, and more. It costs less than you think.
At 98 years old, she's enjoying her life.
Find the senior care help you need. Care.com.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle. looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy. Mow with an attitude.
Dave Kingman has suffered an injury to his right hand, and they're going to have it x-rayed at St. Luke's Hospital. Bobby Bonds, last time up, with 2 out, hit his 9th home run of the year to drive in 20s ahead of him and give the Giants the 2-1 lead. Ferguson Jenkins on the mound as we now are in the last of the 6th inning. Don Carruthers has taken a seat in the bullpen for the Giants, and John Cumberland is now throwing. Well, Oakland has won number 8 in a row, 5-2 over Detroit. Dave Hamilton, since being called up, winning his 3rd straight, and Mickey Lolich dropping his 4th of the year. He's won 9. 32,000 out in Detroit to watch something. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That would mean that if Baltimore wins tonight, the Orioles would be just a game behind the Tigers. And here come the Birds again. New York defeated Houston 5-3 this afternoon, so they're going to at least stay ahead of the Pirates for a while. Houston will be looking at the Cincinnati and Dodger scores of the night. Bobby Bonds strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for Jenkins. That'll bring up Chris Spire, who is 0 for 2. By the way, someone did an analysis the other day, Tony, speaking of the Baltimore Orioles, everybody expected to go out. Boog Tao was hitting about 116 points below his average. Brooks Robinson was hitting about 70 to 80 points below his average. Everybody was down anywhere from 30 to 120 points below their average. And Earl Weaver got about last Tuesday morning, I believe it was, at 9:30 in the morning for hitting practice. They only got about 5 hits that night, but they came back the next night and won 11-2, and now they're on their way again. Spire, this is going into the hole. Kessinger for the throw, and can't beat Spire. Base hit. Base hit number 4 off Jenkins.
Spire not a real pull hitter, and of course Kessinger was playing him about straight away, maybe a little bit up the middle. Spire with an exceptional speed running down to first base, had the play beat, even had Don made a good throw. You're talking about that Orioles team. I guess it was Weaver that also said he wonders where they'd be without their youngsters that they brought up through their farm system. Terry Crowley, Bobby Grich, Don Baylor, they really produced for him early in the year.
Look at Oates, the catcher.
Right.
Here's Anderson. Twice he is grounded to fan zone. Inside, backhanded by Hundley. Speaking one more time of Earl Weaver, do you realize last week, this week really, we're at the end of this week, that they were under 500 for the first time since he joined them as manager in '68 and had a 5-game losing streak for the first time since 1967. So the Orioles, when they talked about the Super Birds of other years, they lost to Pittsburgh in 7 last year, but they have certainly been a dominant factor in the American League. And now they're just, if they can win tonight, just a game behind the Detroit Tigers. And the All-Star break is almost 6 weeks away. Spire has a lot of speed, but he's not going. This is out to short left field. Williams late breaking in. Kessinger out. Williams takes it in front of him. Now makes the throw back to first base, and hustling back is Spire. 2 out with Willie McCovey, 0 for 1 coming to bat. 2-1 the score. Giants lead the Cubs. And McCovey grounded to fan zone in the 2nd and walked in the 4th after they didn't pick up a foul pop-up of his and was walked down to second base, but that's where he stayed. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Giants. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Cubs. Up and in on him.
With McCovey up, I doubt that you'll see the base runner Spire out first trying to steal. But if he should, it'd probably be the first time you'd ever see a third baseman, Sando, take a throw on an attempted steal. He's right near second base with the shift.
Oh, looked like Willie was going to lay one down the third base line with nobody there. On the left side of your screen, that's the third baseman, Santo. As we come to the left, you will see that there's nobody between him and Santo. And McCovey, there it is, was trying to lay one down.
You know, if he tapped the ball just a little bit harder than a bunt down the left field line, it would be a double for McCovey, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit. The way Williams is playing over in left center and Santo playing over near second, that Spire might be able to score all the way from first base.
Now there's 1-1 to McCovey. 2 out, Spire moving off. Drive, deep right field, but high. Cardinal now comes in a little bit. Says he has got it and puts it away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We have gone 6 innings, and the score, San Francisco 2, Chicago 1.
Catch all the weekly show highlights each weekend with Best of Cubs 360 Daily.
I used to go out to batting practice just so I could chat with Ernie. If I was having a bad day, I knew he would pick up my spirits.
I faced him a lot, so they know what I have. Tommy Hotovy, he knows me personally, so I think it's going to be a good thing.
Hindsight's always 20/20. You know, sometimes your emotions get the best of you.
Best of Cubs 360 Daily, Saturday at 5. Proudly presented by Miller Lite.
We will get our momentum back. Our business is back. Our smiles back. Ourselves back. Because that's what this community does. At First Midwest Bank, we want to thank our colleagues for doing everything they can to help our clients and our communities get through this. Because we are all in this together. And together, we will get our momentum back. First Midwest Bank.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Here we are in the top of the 7th inning. And here's a fellow that's done an awful lot for this ball club, Jose Cardinal. Today he made the play on the only run, drawing a walk in the 5th inning, going to third on the base hit to left by Santo, and scoring ahead of the throw by Gallagher at third base on Jenkins' little tapper to make it 2-1. The 2 runs for the Giants, Bobby Bonds' home run in the 3rd. Cardinal is 1 for 1. He is also singled, and he scored the only run. And made some fine catches in right field and drives this one to center field where Gary Maddox is and has it. That'll bring up Ron Santo. Talking about the White Sox winning again today, Chuck Tanner's done such a great job there. Our congratulations to Chuck today for another reason. Mark Tanner has been signed by the Chicago Cubs, who picked him in the 21st round of this week's free agent draft, and Mark had gone to Penn State, where he's both a pitcher and an infielder. Chuck Tanner's got the White Sox moving, and his son may someday play for the rival Cubs. Here is Santo, 1 for 2. Last time up, he singled. Steve Stone all the way as Ferguson Jenkins has gone all the way. Stone born out in Cleveland, Ohio, now lives in Foster City, California. Two balls, one strike.
As happens so often late in the ball game, Jim, in a close ball game, that third baseman guarding the line to prevent against that extra base hit down the line. That's Gallagher, really half a step away from the third base line.
There's a ground ball. Into the hole goes Spire. That's going to be a low throw, but he's got it. McCovey digs it out on one hop.
That guarding of that line almost cost a base runner to these Giants. Gallagher on the line. Spire with a fine play way to his right. Santa with not much speed. McCovey with a fine play, taking the ball out of the dirt.
Here's Randy Hundley, 1 for 2, a double off the glove of Dave Kingman back in the third inning. Kingman since removed. His right hand is injured. We said they're taken to the hospital for x-rays. Top of the 7th inning. Giants lead it by a run. Giants have won 6 only out of 32 games at home. There's a strike. The 1-strike pitch, make it 1-1. Look at that. Houston at New York, won by New York this afternoon. Attendance 54,198 in New York City. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, it's an important series. Houston has been taking the big dive of recent. Had a lot of injuries down there. Tommy Helms out, Lee May out. Jimmy Wynn is probably the most serious injury, and Harry Walker's really had to juggle. Started the day with his team not too far out of first place. On the Dodgers and Cincinnati, 2 games down, but they lost again this afternoon. The Mets trying to hang on ahead of the Pirates. 3-2.
Must be a pretty encouraging note for Yogi, too, to see Kuzman, the winning pitcher in that ball game. And I don't know if you'll ever see the Kuzman of 1969 again, because he has had that arm trouble. But if he can get a reasonable facsimile of a 69 Kuzman, he's going to still be a pretty good pitcher.
Called out on strikes. Strikeout number 6 for Stone. And now we go to the last of the 7th inning with San Francisco leading the Chicago Cubs 2-1.
When allergies attack, the excitement fades. Allegra helps you say yes with the fastest non-drowsy allergy relief. For 24-hour relief from your indoor and outdoor allergies, say yes to life's possibilities. Allegra. Live your life, not your allergies.
Restaurants are facing a crisis, and they're counting on your takeout and delivery orders to make it through. Grubhub. Together, we can help save the restaurants we love.
When you're home, there's nothing like enjoying a classic with a classic. Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories.
It's Overstock's Memorial Day blowout. Shop the biggest sale of the season with over 1 million deals. Huge savings on patio furniture, rugs, and more. And now get free shipping on everything. Overstock, where quality costs less.
You're watching the Marquee Mystery Game. Let's get back to the action.
San Francisco with the Giants at bat in the last of the 7th inning lead the Cubs 2-1. This is Jim Simpson with Tony Kubek. It'll be Dave Rader, Alan Gallagher, and Gary Maddox in the last of the 7th to face Fergus and Jenkins. Down in the bullpen, still warming up as he has been. Well, no, that's the first time we've seen him. Cumberland has sat down. That is Randy Moffett. That's the younger brother that we told you of Billie Jean Moffett King, the tennis player. There he is, just called up as Charlie Williams went down. The Phoenix. Loosening up. Strike to Rader, and I would imagine maybe Larry Johnson is simply taking a look at Moffett and what he's got. You know, our first-year manager of the Phoenix club is our director, Ted Nathanson, is a great fan of his. Used to love him when he played for the Giants. A fellow by the name of Jim Davenport, now managing Phoenix. That ball looked like it might stay fair off the end of the bat of Rader. Foul.
One of the reasons our director, Teddy Nathanson, liked Davenport is that if you isolate on him, it was like Brooks Robinson of the Orioles. You're bound to see a couple of great plays during the course of a ball game.
Ground ball. Here's Popovich, busy today at second base, throwing on the fan zone, and this one out in the San Francisco 7th.
Let's watch the catcher, Randy Hundley, once again. See him avoiding the bat, then coming over on the throw from the second baseman, backing up at first base.
Well, here is Al Gallagher. Gallagher hitting at .277. 1 home run, 5 RBIs, has only been to bat 65 times this year. as Charlie Fox has been trying to get more power to the lineup and is trying to make a third baseman out of Dave Kingman, who is still learning the job over there. Gallagher is pretty good fielding third baseman. Charlie Fox, head down there. What a season he has had, with his team winning 31% of its ball games, and he has been hospitalized on several occasions with kidney stones. So it's not been his best year. Last year, everything was coming up roses for the Giants. They went all the way to the playoffs against the Pirates. They were some great games. Foul tip. Doesn't look like it went off the mask of John Kibler. Mississippi leads Texas 6-0. This is an NCAA championship series going on. Loser of the game is out of the tournament. USC won one last night. They have won, what they're looking for, their third in a row, I believe, NCAA championships. They have really turned out some great teams and great players at Southern California. And a fellow by the name of Jake Gibbs is coaching, I guess you say coaching instead of managing in college, that Mississippi team which lost to USC last night. Foul back. A lot of players here in this game today have played varsity baseball. Rick Mundy, we were talking about, Arizona State. Chris Spire went to University of California. At Santa Barbara, Dave Kingman, USC. Here's a fly ball, right center field. Overcomes Mundy, overcomes Cardinal. Mundy is there, and that's the second out in the San Francisco 7. Steve Stone went to Kent State, as we told you.
I recall when Jake Gibbs first came up with the Yankees, signed one of the largest bonuses ever paid there, and Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford were kind of egging him on a little bit and saying, son, what kind of hitter are you? And he said, well, he said, Mick, I'm not much of a home run hitter like you. He said, I just hit a lot of line drives with that southern drawl of his. Between the outfielders, get a lot of doubles and triples.
Here's Maddox 0 for 2. Am I correct? Gee, Jake had a long career. Did not he come up as shortstop, third baseman?
Shortstop, and then
converted him to second catcher.
Tried to make him a third baseman, Jim, and then there was a shortage of catchers with Alley and Yogi getting old. So they sent him down to the minor leagues where he kept injuring his hand.
Well, Cardinal makes the out, and that is the third out. No runs, hits, or errors. We've gone 7 innings now in a very close ball game. The Giants, thanks to Bobby Bonds' home run with a man on, lead the Cubs by the score of 2-1.
Motorcycle riders love the open road, and Geico loves helping riders get to where they're going. So to help even more, Geico is giving new and current customers a 15% credit on their motorcycle policies with the Geico Give Back. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your whole policy term. The Geico Give Back, helping riders focus on the road ahead.
We got one of those new purple mattresses, and it is amazing. You have to try it.
Oh, this doesn't feel like memory foam.
No.
This feels amazing.
Right?
What is it?
Actually, it's called Purple, and it's a completely unique comfort technology, meticulously designed to cradle and support the human body.
Cool.
I'm Javi Baez, and you're watching Marquee Sport Network.
Oh, gee, what a day this is. Temperature in the mid-60s, very sunny, lots of blue skies. We go to the 8th inning of a 2-1 ball game, and here's Ferguson Jenkins, and this is the spot that many pitchers like, Tony. They like to lead off pitching to the pitcher. They almost consider this a 2-out inning. However, Jenkins, as we said, is a pretty good hitter, led all of the National League hitters last year, so he is a possible exception to the rule. Today, he is 0 for 2. He has reached on a fielder's choice. Maddox playing in, but shaded toward left. Strike from Stone.
Cubs bullpen on your left, the right-hander, Tom Phoebus. That's Dan McGinn, the left-hander. McGinn and Phoebus are the Cubs.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs 23-11 since losing 9 of their first 11. Right field, Bobby Bonds going back. It pulled him as he goes back, and he's got it. Bonds did not expect Jenkins to hit it that hard to the opposite field.
Bobby actually took 3 or 4 steps almost straight in, just misjudged it, but you get a chance to see what blazing speed can do for you. He just outran the ball, getting back into that right field corner. Look at him go. Just in front of the fence in that pole.
Oh, there's 1 out. Maybe a 2-out inning for Steve Stone, but he sweated a little bit there. That might have tied the ball game had it carried a little bit farther. Certainly put Jenkins in good base running position. Here's Kessinger, 0 for 3. Left field foul. New York defeated Houston this afternoon, 5-3. Kuzma the winner, Wilson the loser. Rader and Cedeno hit home runs. Cincinnati, Montreal postponed because of rain. Tonight, Atlanta at Philadelphia, Pittsburgh at Los Angeles. There's a big one, St. Louis at San Diego. And of course, this score here is 2-1. Giants over the Cubs in the top of the 8th. Strike 2. California trails Boston 3-2. Wright and Curtis the pitchers. Fisk and Harper have homered. That's after 6. Cleveland defeated Minnesota. Wilcox over Woodson 4-1. Twins have now lost 3 in a row, 7 of the last 9. Oakland won its 8th in a row, 5-2 over Detroit. Hamilton defeating Lolich. Chicago defeated Milwaukee 6-1. Brett losing to Bradley. Detroit's now lost 4 in a row. Baltimore's at Texas tonight. If they win that game with McNally pitching, it'll be a game behind. And New York's at Kansas City also tonight. Count to Kessinger with 1 out on the 8th. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Stone now, Jim, seems to be going more with his fastball. He was changing speeds on his breaking ball in the first part of the ball game. He still appears strong. He's thrown some fastballs very hard to Don Kessinger. He likes to move around a lot between pitches, as you see. Where the rule that came in a few years ago, a pitcher is not able to go to his mouth to wet his hands while on the dirt surface. So he moves off a lot to get some moisture.
Left field playing over there was Henderson. He's going to go in the bullpen and not get it. Kessinger, not a pull hitter. He goes with the ball, of course. Better hitter from left side. That's Henderson walking back to left. But as you saw Alan Gallagher protecting the third base line back in the 7th inning, so in this inning, at this particular play, with the left-hander up, it is Willie McCovey over at first base protecting the first base line against that extra base hit. As a matter of fact, for a left-handed hitter, Gallagher is playing more toward the line at third than what you would for most left-handed hitters, because he does make contact. So they're protecting both lines. And it goes right back through the middle and gets through. 5th hit. Now you know what a good catch that was for Bonds after he had misjudged the ball. That would have been deep trouble for Steve Stone. Long drive by Jenkins caught, the single by Kessinger. Here's Popovich playing, as we said, for the injured Glenn Becker. All is 0 for 3. Dick Dozier of the Chicago Tribune talking with us, reporting that the Cubs are playing a man short. There's that Chicago Cub Booster Club again, clapping it up for the Cubs. Ball rides in under the chin of Popovich, ball 1.
Apparently Stone is weakening somewhat, because I just saw Charlie Fox peep his head out of the Giants dugout, look down to the bullpen and signal to Don McMahon, his pitcher and pitching coach, whether or not the pitcher warming up is ready. And the sign came back, yes, he is. There's Charlie. And Rader went out to check with his pitcher.
Waited on the change, lines it to left. Henderson comes in and has it for the second out. Well, one of the big troubles, Kessinger briefly bluffing there that he might go to second. Here comes Billy Williams. One of the big problems with the Giants has been, as one man put it today, when you call to the bullpen, you never know what's going to come out of there. Here's Williams 0 for 3. Bonds made a fine running catch on him in the 1st. He struck out swinging in the 4th and grounded to Fuentes at 2nd in the 6th. Jim Barr is the man that's now warming up. Randy Moffett was just up for a look-see, I'm sure, and Barr has had much more experience and was not just called up as warming up. This Williams is dangerous, but he pops it up. Oh, so high. Fuentes now says he's got it, and does. No runs, one hit, no errors, and Kessinger's left at first base. We go to the last of the 8th inning, and those Cubs are still trailing the San Francisco Giants by 1 run. The score is 2-1.
Let Marquee Sports Network deliver fresh baseball news and analysis to you with Cubs 360 Daily. Though baseball may be on pause, we're pulling together the most knowledgeable voices coming to you daily from their home to yours.
I hope David Ross and the Cubs are able to sort of reestablish what they had in 16. And whatever was lost incrementally in 17, 18, and 19.
Cubs 360 Daily, fresh each weeknight at 7:30 on Marquee Sports Network. Proudly presented by Miller Lite.
People from Chicago pull for Chicago. We root for its teams, celebrate its successes, push through its challenges. When people call us the second city, it's misleading. We're second to none. We're hardworking, resilient, but we have a good time. When you live in Chicago, you proudly call this home. Your bank should too. We're Wintrust, built here, for here. And we've taken our place as Chicago's bank because no other bank can say the same.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Live women's tennis is back as the Tennis Channel Reopen Tour continues. It's the UTR Pro Match Series. Live coverage Friday through Sunday daily at 11 a.m. Don't miss this exciting live tennis action all weekend long on Marquee Sports Network.
Fuentes, Stone, and Bonds in the last of the 8th inning. This 2-1 ball game going against Ferguson Jenkins. Well, it's a strike on the outside corner. Our little unit here, our producer today is Dick Auerbach, our director is Ted Nathanson, and yours truly. It's 4th consecutive year that we'll go to England for one of the most traditional and best-loved events of all time, the All-England Tennis Championships at Wimbledon, England. What a pleasure it is. 2 strikes quickly to Fuentes from Ferguson Jenkins. Nobody working in the Cubs bullpen now, but the Giants bullpen is quite busy.
The front foot of Fuentes, he gets up on that toe at times. He doesn't stride at all, which is something relatively new for Tito.